Greetings, fellow grown-ups who collect plastic. Today I want to talk to you about my absolute favorite current Bumblebee figure, and that has to be the Scan Series Bumblebee from Dark of the Moon. Now before we start talking about this figure, which I love so much, I do want to briefly mention the deluxe line of Bumblebees for the Dark of the Moon series was pretty crazy. There were a whole lot of variants. I believe I have most of them, and if I don't, I will eventually because I've been kind of going crazy collecting these guys. Here, of course, is the original deluxe for Dark of the Moon, the basic standard Camaro. And it's absolutely gorgeous. It looks great. And again, these deluxe sizes back then were just so much better than they are now. So much larger and a lot of fun. So this was the standard deluxe. Moving on, we have the 84 version, which has the stars on the side, which as a Resident Evil fan, I like to make that connection, even though that's of course not what this is. It's related to the nest and the, tactical, whatever, special tactical force. I'll put that information up, which by the way, also for the molds, there are so many mold variations. They have, maybe 7 or 8 different deluxe Bumblebees, and they use 3 or 4 different molds, I think. So rather than get them wrong in discussing these, each time I show one of these, I will put up the mold, the original mold that they used for the specific figure. So this was the 84. Here we have the Cybertronian language version that clearly I think is also clear plastic. It's very shiny. It's just a lot of paint on it. So it's quite translucent. I don't know if I can show that without making too much of a mess, but it's a cool looking figure. I like this one quite a bit. This guy, I think, is the one, I have his head. One of these I'm missing the head on, but not this one. Anyway, another great variation. This, I believe, is the Nitro version. And most of these, by the way, were also Mech Tech, so they have the Mech Tech weapons. This one works kind of okay. As often the case, it can get stuck. But anyway, this is the Nitro variation, which is also really cool. Look at the back of that. This is probably one of the better looking alt modes for the deluxe Bumblebees from Dark of the Moon. I like this one quite a bit. This one is interesting. It is the Autobot Daredevil Squad version from the Human Alliance line. This came with a little Sam Witwicky figure and also a trike that Sam could ride. I'll show a picture of it. But this is a fun variation because it is gray and black on the outside. Now, by the time you transform him, most of the parts are yellow, so it's still a mostly yellow Bumblebee with the back and the, the doors and things like that still showing that gray. But that one's really cool too. And my second favorite, which is currently transformed, and sometimes it's my first, would have to be the Cyberfire. I absolutely love this bee. I've made a short on him. The translucent orange windows are crazy, and the light piping looks so good on him. Even here, it looks like his eyes are glowing, so I absolutely love this guy. Cyberfire is really cool, and possibly I'll transform it at some point as well and show the vehicle mode on this one, but I really love this guy. But anyway, we are here to talk about this guy. Scan Series Bumblebee, to me, is high risk, high reward, because he is, of course, all clear plastic. And that means that he is somewhat brittle, he will eventually probably break. That the durability on the clear plastic, as we know, is not great. And when you combine that with bayformers that sometimes in their transformations can be pretty tricky and have a few stress points that can be kind of hard to pull off sometimes, combining that with the clear plastic is obviously a recipe for disaster. So that is the problematic side of this figure. But the payoff for me, the reward, is just how incredible he looks. So as you can see, that clear plastic just looks so good. And then it transitions into the scan lines you can see, which on the doors and on the backs of his arms. And then of course you end up with the yellow bee. And it just looks incredible. And it's more obvious in the vehicle mode, obviously, but he just looks so incredible in this mode. Like, I just can't get enough of how this guy looks. You can see on the door, you can see the transition with the scan lines there. It just looks incredible. And of course he's got this gun. It is mech tech and there are gimmicks, and he has this gun that's actually shoots really well, and that it folds over from the transformation to sit in there quite nicely. And that's actually a lot of fun, and so far it still works, so that's good. And also the head sculpt on this guy is just truly incredible. Like, not remembering exactly what he may have looked like in the movie, this to me is it. And I just think it is just such a cool mode. He just looks good. That is Bumblebee to me. Now, of course, he is brittle and he does make me nervous. So after I bought him and made the first video on him and transformed him a few times, I got super nervous. So I did go ahead and order another one so I could just, you know, keep it in the box. I'm that guy, at least when it comes to this. And this is going to be hard to shoot, so I'm really going to, because I have limited workspace here, I will shoot some other shots of this to show off the box. But the other reason to keep this in the box is this Toys R Us logo. I absolutely love this logo, the nostalgia to this. If you remember, if you're old enough, and you should be if you're watching this video, back then in 2011, if you went to Toys R Us, you would have a wall of Transformers. There would be no trying to get there first or get lucky one day, go into a Target and you have maybe 3 or 4 items on a shelf. They would all be there. There would be plenty of them. You wouldn't have to worry about that. You wouldn't have to worry about scalpers and going on eBay and all that stuff. They would just be there. So the nostalgia and the joy just seeing that Toys R Us logo brings is, you know, immeasurable. But anyway, so yeah, I will always have an extra in the box here as a backup, but also just to keep sealed and preserve that memory, because I absolutely love this box and I love that logo, and it's just great. Now, just looking closer about what makes a lot of these modes so special, part of it is these Mech Alive features. When you see these gears like this in these modes from this time, that means they have that sort of auto morph or Mech Alive, whatever you want to call it, technology, where you move one little bit and it sort of puts everything into place. So when you move his leg up, everything seats where it's supposed to be, and then you just have to pop this bit back. And that's a really fun feature. It can be tricky, and it can be tricky on this one because it's also in the chest and arms, but that bit is a little harder to pull off. But anyway, that makes the transformation process. And let's go ahead and get the pew pew out. No, he's not actually. There we go. So as we transform him, you'll see again even better on this one if I can hold it correctly. Once you move that in, everything just sort of goes into place perfectly. And you can pop this bit around, snap everything in. And you're good to go. Now that's the other fear. I hope the mic is picking it up well. The scrunching sound you hear, particularly with this clear plastic, can make you very nervous. Right now, so far so good with this thing, but over time, if I were to transform him a lot and start messing things up and be squeezing a little too much, I could run into a lot of trouble. But that's something you always have to think about, and that's what makes me nervous about this figure. Otherwise, the transformation process is actually a lot of fun and pretty satisfying. You got to bring these bits around. And then the arms and chest, the tires do this thing. If you can see, let's see, there are gears in here. There is a mechanism here that I have yet to perfect, but when I do get it right, it works very well, wherein when you move, first let's get this bit up out of the way. In fact, to do that, you want to make sure this is out of the way and not blocking you. And then in theory, you should be able to pull this up without issue and push this into place. But again, there's the gears. You can see those gears right there. All this needs to turn at once, and look at that. Puts everything into place kind of magically. You just have to do that turn right. And so once you do that, everything for the most part falls into place. So then we can bring the tires around. The hands go on top of this mold. So this comes up, and as you can see, they have to kind of sneak up here and rest in here. But first, you have to get them up there. You have to push the wheels into place. So we make sure the wheels are aligned perfectly. That's all pretty well aligned. Bring that out, pop them out. Now let's swing the doors around because obviously they need to be the right direction. There we go. And we'll put the arms up where they're going to need to be. And then push that back into place. There we go. I'm way better at going the other way with this. But then once those are kind of nested, you can bring the arms up. And the way this folds around, I kind of want it to end up in the middle of the car, especially since it's transparent. You want it to pop up right in the middle. It looks cooler that way. And then we can bring the other door around. Let's pull this out a little bit. There we go. Arms tucked in. This one's gonna go down that way. There we go. You want to make sure everything is evened up. And see, we want the gun sticking out just like that. I like that back there like that. And then the doors will lock in right here. If everything is lined up well, the doors should go where they're supposed to go. Sealed right there. This bit is always a bit tricky because it's kind of hard to see these are locked into place or not, but if they go in there right, you should be in good shape. Oh, look what we did here. See this? This is the trick with these arms, and this is what's throwing me off. The beauty of these things is if you do everything right, they snap together nicely, and if you don't, they punish you for it. And I think we might have just popped his head off underneath there. That's okay. There we go. But now this is tucked in correctly on both sides, so the doors should go in. There we go. The only thing I'm not too happy about is this is still tucked underneath a bit, but otherwise it's fine. And again, I don't want to be transforming this guy too often because, you know, we're worried about it breaking. But there he is in his amazing looking alt mode. I absolutely love this. The way it transfers from the clear plastic to the scan lines to the yellow just looks so good. It can be kind of looking at him face on, you just have a traditional Bumblebee, and then you see that transition. I just love this so much. There were two other, I believe they did Ironhide in this as well, and I'm not sure. I'll throw up who the other one is. I want to say maybe Jazz or Sideswipe. I'm not 100% sure, but there were three of these done. Bumblebee, Ironhide, and I'll put the third one up there. But I just love the look of this. And actually, you can see the gun in the back, and you can fit his missile back in there. Tuck it away, and it just looks cool in there. Look at that. Look how cool that looks. I just can't stress enough how much I love this translucent plastic. I'm going to pause for a second and fix this, and then we're going to look further at the alt modes and compare it with the other ones. Okay, so now we're back, and we have the alt mode sorted out. Fix that seam, and everything just looks fantastic. We've got his, oh, stick his missile back in there. There we go. It's tucked away. I left his head that way. But otherwise, yeah, I just can't get enough. I love the look of this alt mode. This Bumblebee is just too cool. But it is brittle, so we have a backup. So now we can compare him with the other ones. Here is the regular deluxe figure, which also very cool. The Autobot Daredevil Squad. Love that one as well. Nitro Bumblebee without his gun. There's the 84 car. All of these are great. I love all of these. The Cybertronian markings. Another clear plastic one. And of course we won't forget about Cyberfire. There he is transformed, and man, he is a close second. This one just looks really good. In 2011, when it comes to Bumblebee figures in particular, we were spoiled. We had so many great options, so many great sizes. These are the deluxe. If you're younger at the time, you had these fun level 1 Bumblebee mobile battle bunker type stuff, these Cyberverse versions. This mold in particular, there are a ton of these. I might start collecting these as well, but there were a lot of them. But it's just a fun little bee with a little battle bunker, little base he can hop on here. It can pull him and he can hop on and fight. I'll open this up at some point and have fun with it. I tend to not leave these in the box. I preserve the boxes, but I like to take them out and mess around with them. But that was cool. And now, just to be thorough, we will in fact transform him back and show you that process. We'll start with popping the doors open. This is just how I do it, and I'm sure it's not always going to be perfectly step by step, but it works well for me. The next thing I'd want to do is crack this back a little bit. I want to be careful when I say crack when it comes to this guy. But then we can separate the arms, kind of tuck them out from under here, separate the arms, and just get them out of the way. And then we can turn around here, and we can move up these bits first. I like to just kind of pop them up, get that out of the way, and then let the Mech Alive automorph work for us. Pull the feet down, let everything kind of go into place, just like that. Same on the other side. Oops, pull the foot down. There we go. Legs pretty much done. And then the next thing we want to do is pop the arms out, the wheels out, kind of pull them out a little bit, give us a little bit more space to work. They should pop just like that. So now they're fully out of the way. And we can turn the doors up, get those out of the way. We want to twist these around, the windows around, they should face the other way. And then now here, I believe the best thing to do is to go ahead and pull this down. Make sure this isn't blocking. Pull that down a bit, and then we'll want this auto-morphing. You can see the gears in there. We want to somewhere grab and bring the tires around and let everything come up with that. But it's a matter of making sure stuff's out of the way, including this bit back here. But then we should be able to twist the arms and the tires up like that. And now they rest kind of parallel. You have the tire and the shoulder kind of right there. And then you can finish up by fixing the doors however you want, turning his arms around, getting him nice and posed. And then this can come down and these can come up a bit to finalize the look. And there you have it. Standing goofy is the wonderful Scan Series Bumblebee. He's just an absolutely fantastic figure. And I personally think he looks incredible. I'm sure this might be slightly divisive and it might be a love it or hate it situation, but I love this guy. I love the face on this guy, and he's just an excellent figure. Anyway, this is the end of my ode to Scan Series Bumblebee. Have a wonderful day.